Hello and welcome back to Hindustan Astrology. I'm Katya, and in today's video we're going to discuss the September 2nd, 2020 full moon in Aquarius, Shatabishak nakshatra through all 12 signs. This September 2020 full moon takes place on the 2nd at 1:20 a.m. EDT at 16 degrees of Aquarius, Shatabishak nakshatra. This means 100 healers and spans from 6.4 to 20 degrees of Aquarius, and the symbol is an empty circle or 1,000 flowers or stars. The deity that rules this lunar mansion is Varuna, the god of the cosmic waters, the sky, and the earth. He poured out the healing waters of life that cured all diseases and gave immortality. As the god of Maya, or illusion, he is the divine healer. If you repent, he will give heavenly grace. This is the veiling star and corresponds to the large group of faint stars in the Aquarius water-bearer constellation, but also to the star Fomalhaut, which is in the Pisces Australis constellation, Al-Hut, the mouth of the whale, being close by, and denotes great musical ability and expansive spirituality. It can also give fortune or misfortune. Now, this star Fomalhaut is disputed being associated with this nakshatra because it is far off the ecliptic, but it is one of the 4 archangel stars, and it was very important not just in the Vedas, but also in Egypt. The sign of Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, and Shatabishak is ruled by Rahu. So that places the importance on these 2 transiting planets for this full moon. In Persian astrology, Fomalhaut is ruled by Mercury and Venus, giving it the nature of idealism, psychic abilities, very handsome or attractive qualities, very clean and neat, lovable, refined, genteel, and intelligent. It is said to be extremely fortunate and powerful, and yet causes malevolence of sublime scope and character, and changes from a material to a spiritual form of expression. Cardon stated that together with the stars rising with 12, Gemini, it gives an immortal name. It has a Mercury-Venus character, as I said, with a blending of Neptune influence. According to tradition, this star is of quite variable effect, either very good or very bad, depending on the overall cosmic structure. It is assumed, however, that the helpful influence is the greater one, and if in conjunction with Mercury, it is said to stimulate mental capabilities and promise success as a writer or scientist. On the ascendant and in good aspect, tradition has it that this star will make for fame and a name remembered forever. In conjunction with Venus, there will be advantages in artistic pursuits. A conjunction with Jupiter or on the median coli, which is the top of the chart, would be like the cusp of the 10th house, will bring favor from dignitaries of the church. Tied up with either sun or moon, the influence of Fomalhaut is said to be quite marked. Fomalhaut star rules the heel of the right foot in the human body. If Fomalhaut is with the moon, which would mean that your moon sign is in Shatabishak nakshatra, it indicates building, marrying, and make friends and traveling. People born with this nakshatra in significant places in their chart are often healers and doctors, and it is associated with astrology, as these people may be astronomers or astrologers themselves. They are very mystical, spiritual, philosophical, and they are visionaries. The flip side is that they can be secretive, reclusive, and are prone to being moody, depressed, and lonely. As they are highly intelligent, they can also be stubborn and opinionated, and may think they know it all. As alcoholism is an extremely hard to cure disease, these individuals may have addiction problems with themselves or with their family. Particularly if moon is in Shatabishak, it could indicate that the mother was an alcoholic. There is a connection with electricity and stargazing from the Neptunian influence, so having these planets in these signs shows emphasis on these things. Now let's take a look at the transit analysis. On this September 2020 full moon day, we have the moon sitting with Neptune retrograde. And as the star Fomalhaut, which rules this nakshatra, is of the nature of Neptune, this will emphasize the qualities of mysticism, spirituality, but also of lies and deceit being exposed because it is retrograde. This is taking place in Washington, D.C.'s 9th house of higher education, luck and fortune, long distance travel, and foreign cultures, and the father. In the U.S. birth chart, the moon is in Shatabishak in the 3rd house. So this will be particularly powerful for the United States, and having the moon conjunct Neptune retrograde could indicate possible disclosure of ET and UF technologies that they have been hiding from the public. The recent July 23rd New York Times article entitled, "No Longer in Shadows, Pentagon's UFO Unit Will Make Some Findings Public" by Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie Keene is about the fact that for over a decade, the program, now tucked inside the Office of Naval Intelligence, has discussed mysterious events in classified briefings, the Navy and all things of the sea being associated with Neptune. Here's just a small excerpt from the article, and I'm going to put the link to the article in the information section so you can read it yourself. Despite Pentagon statements that it disbanded a once covert program to investigate unidentified flying objects, the effort remains underway, renamed and tucked inside the Office of Naval Intelligence, where officials continue to study mystifying encounters between military pilots and unidentified aerial vehicles. Pentagon officials will not discuss the program, which is not classified but deals with classified matters. Yet it appeared last month in a Senate committee report outlining spending on the nation's intelligence agencies for the coming year. The report said the program, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force, was to standardize collection and reporting on sightings of unexplained aerial vehicles and was to report at least some of its findings to the public within 180 days after passage of the Intelligence Authorization Act. The U.S. birth chart is in a Sati period currently that began in January when Saturn entered Capricorn and will go for 7 years. So there will be a lot of emphasis upon these secret space programs and their ramifications for the country. Issues around these themes that come out during this full moon will be central to the U.S. Sati. So we can expect in roughly 3 years for Saturn to be in Aquarius in Shatabishak conjunct the U.S. moon in our 3rd house. Now, in a birth chart, if you have moon conjunct Fomalhaut, this indicates secret business causing much trouble and enmity, but eventual gain after many difficulties. The separation is more benefic than the application. Elvis Presley had his moon here at 0 degrees, 55 minutes, and he was known for his drug addictions, but also brilliance with music. He also had a strong interest in ET and UFOs. If you have Neptune conjunct Fomalhaut in your chart, it indicates sharp, shrewd, self-seeking, analytical, detective abilities, many secret enemies, connection with secret affairs or government work, occult interests, somewhat dishonest, influential friends, association with 9th and 12th house affairs, which would be foreign lands and religions and spirituality as well. Gain through speculation, death of marriage partner, many narrow escapes, and a violent death through secret enemies. So, for the transit analysis of the day. Opposite the moon in Neptune today is the sun conjunct Mercury in Leo. It's actually a Purva Falguni nakshatra in DC's third house of media and communication. This shows the importance of lies and deceit being exposed and the truth coming out regarding secrets surrounding ET and their technologies, but also higher education and the impact of the pandemic on universities. The government will have a lot to say about what is going on with higher education, and the sentences of many parents involved in the college blues scandal will come out at this time, such as Lori Loughlin and her husband. Saturn and Rahu are the planets of this full moon, and this transit Saturn is making the difficult 6-8 quincunx aspect to DC's ascendant at the time of the full moon. This shows troubles for DC in the areas of death, sex, drugs, and endings of all kinds and tragedies, and it is bringing it directly to them via the first house. Saturn retrograde is 12 places away from the full moon and Neptune conjunction, and this shows the enemy at your back that you cannot see. So this would be enemies of Washington, D.C. that they cannot see. So this enemy is of the nature of Saturn, so dark and foreboding, and with a dark agenda to control others. Rahu is getting ready to switch signs to Taurus and Ketu to Scorpio on the 19th, so they are approaching the cusp, which makes the energy stronger. Rahu is the material ego. It is the energy that consumes life and shows the fate and destiny of the chart. Having it in the first house for DC shows that the very personality of Washington is transforming. Opposite Rahu is the tenuous Jupiter retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and Ketu conjunction in the 7th house. Jupiter is also stationing direct on the 13th, so this will place a lot of emphasis upon our leaders of belief systems of all kinds and the education system, as he is in his own sign of Sagittarius, which is all about our philosophies and teaching. In mundane astrology, the 7th house is the opponent, so this means that universities and spiritual leaders will be against Washington at this time. Saturn is retrograde but about to go direct, and he is opposite Venus at this time. This produces an emotionally cold feeling, and having Venus in Washington's 2nd house of money and speech for the full moon shows that the withholding of money is an issue right now. And as many are waiting on Congress to make a resolution in regards to another stimulus package, this is not an encouraging sign. Mars is stationing to go retrograde on the 10th on this full moon day, and he is in his own sign of Aries and conjunct Uranus retrograde. This is in Washington's 11th house of communities for the full moon, and having Mars there shows that the military is getting energized suddenly. For months, astrologers have been talking about Mars retrograde bringing a war to the United States, and we know that the US has been doing military exercises in the South China Sea, not to mention the civil war we have had in the United States since the lunar eclipse on June 5th. Having Mars stationing retrograde and with Uranus retrograde shows that technologies the military are being exposed at this time. As we are approaching the US presidential election on November 4th, Mars will be front and center and still retrograde, so the anger will be palpable. Mars has just left the Gandanta phase where it feels like we are drowning, and when he goes retrograde, he will go back over these sensitive degrees again, making us all emotionally volatile. He is making his strongest 4th aspect to Venus on this full moon day, so this shows the military being energized with money and given a voice. We should be careful of angry words at this time. So let's take a look at the September 2020 full moon through the 12 signs. These predictions are general for each sign and are for the next 2 weeks. Read this from your sidereal moon or ascendant signs or your sun sign. To find out your sidereal signs, go to the chart calculator. I'll put the link in the information section. And please do not use your Western signs because it won't make as much sense. Aries. This full moon will bring a healing to your communities, and you find yourself in a new spiritual group of friends at this time. You must be careful of spending too much money, however. If a large sum of money comes to you now, make sure you are saving and investing, not just liquidating your assets. Your creative projects could take some new energy on now, and you may even make some money from them. For the last 18 months, Rahu has been in your third house of media and communications. And on September 19th, he will go into your second house of money, the voice, and blood relatives. You probably have been studying during this time. And so once the nodes shift, you will be able to make money off of what you've been studying. Be careful of headaches and anxiety now, and the probability of car accidents is greater. So please be careful, Aries. Taurus, there will be a healing on this full moon for you in regard to your career at this time, and secrets in your field of work will be revealed now. Your mother could be a big help to you in your career at this time, so rely upon her intelligence, or if she's passed on words that she said to you that were very meaningful and helpful to you. You can make some money from real estate now, and your home will be infused with energy and powerful thinkers. So it is a great place for learning now. You have been experiencing some difficulties and hindrances in higher education, or feeling like you are not lucky at all lately. Your relationship with your father might be strained, or with your church or religion. The last 18 months have been about money, speech, the voice, and blood relatives. After September 19th, it will now be all about you and getting back into shape and doing some self-care. You have some powerful enemies at your back that you cannot see, and they may have to do with foreign lands, possibly in the form of hackers or haters online. Do nothing to aggravate them and use some energy magic to stop the bad energy. Also, Taurus, this is a great time for you to get involved in yoga, dance, or martial arts for exercise. Gemini. This full moon will bring a healing to matters in higher education, and you may find yourself diving into learning about astronomy, astrology, and ufology. Foreign cultures will fascinate you right now, and you will want to learn more about them. You will have better and more positive communications with your siblings or cousins at this time. Elders in your family could pass now, or if they have passed recently, you may come into an inheritance. If you have been waiting on other people's money in the form of a lawsuit or simply money that is owed to you, it will come through by the end of the month. The last 18 months have been about yourself and getting your mental space organized. Now for the next 18 months, it will be about getting more sleep, your dreams, and getting your health under control. You have had massive changes in your relationships this summer and getting to the bottom of manipulations by others, and perhaps now thinking differently about how you relate to others. There could be a new man that enters your life via your larger communities. And if you are in the military, then new technologies will come out that directly impact you and the whole community. Elder siblings could be the source of great gains of money at this time. Cancer. This full moon will bring a healing in your sex life, or it could provide a breakup as secrets will be revealed. Money that is owed to you from others will come through at this time, and especially by the end of the month. There has been a sobering effect in your romantic and business partnerships, and you have been feeling frustrated and cold. But by December 20th, you will have a change or breakthrough in those areas for sure, so hang in there. The last 18 months has been all about getting your sleep cycles right, and your dreams have probably been pretty vivid, especially this summer. Beliefs that you have held regarding your health are probably changing drastically, and you may have been serving as a spiritual teacher this summer. There is a renewed vigor in your career now, and new inspirations and insights, possibly from a man, may have been the impetus for you to be more recognized in your field. Leo. This full moon will bring a healing in your marriage or in committed business partnerships. You either get back together or you break up, but either way, it will be a healthy and good thing for you. You are especially insightful at this time, and you are discovering powerful new ways of thinking. You have felt overworked for the past 6 months, but hang in there, as by the end of the month, it will pay off. Take care of your health, as it will suffer from you being a workaholic right now. The last 18 months have been about new communities and lots of learning, perhaps even going back to school and meeting new people as a result. If you have children, take heed of them at this time, as they may be embroiled in the manipulation of others who do not have their best interest at heart. You could get to take a vacation that is far away from your home and meet people, especially men, who have new and innovative ways of thinking that fascinate you. If your father is still alive, be careful of sudden accidents involving cars or any automotive, perhaps a boat or jet skis, for instance. Virgo. This full moon will bring a healing in your work, and if you have had health issues, you will understand the underlying cause at this time. You will gain a lot of powerful knowledge and insight from foreigners or foreign cultures now, but be careful of exhaustion, as it may cause you to take to your bed. Get some rest. There probably have been people manipulating your mother's assets, your home or real estate that you own. Things will start to move in those areas around the 13th, so pay attention to the dark agendas of others who want your resources. The past 18 months have been all about your career and receiving the recognition for your hard work. The next 18 months will be about new philosophies, traveling and meeting people of foreign cultures, and even converting to a new religion. It is imperative that you take care of your health now, as your exhaustion could cause some serious diseases. If your sex life has been bad, then this is a time when you could regain some sudden enthusiasm in that area. Libra. This full moon will bring a healing in regard to your relationship with your children. Education in general and your creative projects will flow nicely now. You will get accepted into a greater community now, and they will give to you compelling new ways of thinking. And if you are the eldest sibling, you could be the source of great gains of money for your siblings. You may be moving your home at this time, or your mother's home. You may have felt frustrated in regard to real estate, but by the end of the month, there will be forward progress. These last 18 months have been all about learning new philosophies, and perhaps you even went back to school as an adult. The next 18 months will bring a massive transformation in your life. Deaths in your family and inheritance or money that is owed to you from others will come through at this time. And make sure to speak up, as you may lose your voice in these matters. You have had a hard time with siblings, and they have been manipulating you behind the scenes. There will be increased energy in your marriage or business partnerships, and a new man will bring technology or new ideas that may help your business at this time. Scorpio. This full moon will bring a healing to your home life, and it may be because you got a new job. You have been feeling frustrated in regard to how you communicate, and certainly there has been little to no connections with your siblings or cousins these past 6 months. These past 18 months have been very trying for you. but you are transforming at a very deep level, and that is hardly ever a pleasant experience, but worth it in the end. The next 18 months will be about emphasis upon your marriage and business partners. But do not lose yourself in the bliss of union. You have been the victim of others' manipulations of your money this summer. And if you have been broke, then you will get some money around the 13th. And by the end of this month, you will feel some forward momentum here. It is imperative that you get enough sleep right now, as it will directly affect your health with a serious disease if you do not. Be careful of enemies at this time, as they may suddenly attack you. Sagittarius. This full moon will bring a healing in the realm of how you communicate, and you may be a channel of a higher source of wisdom at this time in the form of spiritual messages that enlighten people. The traditional teachings of your father or religion will be highlighted now, and you could receive good luck from traveling abroad or from foreigners or foreign cultures. You have been feeling very frustrated about making money, but by the end of the month, this will pass and you will get money from new work. These last 18 months have been about focusing on your marriage or partnership and your business. The next 18 months will be about hands-on work and focusing on your health, as well as your dreams will be very psychic at this time. This summer has brought you new ways of thinking and detangling the cobwebs of the manipulative thinking you were brought up with. You may have been the victim of others' dark agendas, but now you are waking up to it and saying enough is enough. Sports bets will be invigorated at this time, and there will be a new energy in your children's education or in your creative projects if you have no children. Capricorn. This full moon will be bringing a healing to your money matters, and you speak the truth right now regarding universal truths, astronomy, astrology, and even the disclosure of ET. And you may have a new love or relationship in your life. Money that is owed to you from others will come through at this time, and if you are waiting on an inheritance, there will be new information from your lawyers that sheds light onto the topic. You may have been very confused in regard to your relationship this summer, which probably produced a lack of effort on your part. But by the end of the month, it will clear up and you can start to gain some forward momentum. These last 18 months have been all about your hands-on work, your health, sleep, and staying away from enemies. These next 18 months will be about education, your children if you have any, or your creative projects. And you could step away from some spiritual communities that you have been a part of. There have been some manipulations by leaders in either your religions, your spirituality, or in political realms. And by the 13th of this month, you will see them for who they are more clearly. This is an excellent time for real estate investments and any home associated with your mother, and you will see sudden movement in attaining assets associated with her. Aquarius. This full moon is bringing a healing to the way you think, and you will be speaking the truth at this time in regard to spiritual consciousness, and your body can receive restorative medicine if you have been injured or sick. Your relationships will benefit from increased enthusiasm, and you may have an affinity with youth now. You have been very frustrated with sleep, and it is probably due to people from foreign lands or even being in the hospital or prison, but things will move forward by the end of the month. These last 18 months have been all about education, children, and creative projects. The next 18 months will be about the mother, the home, and real estate, and your career will have you sacrificing a lot for the good of the whole. Leaders in your communities have been exposed for their dark agendas this past summer, and they may have cheated you out of large sums of money. But by the 13th, there will be a new drive here. You may be suddenly upset with your siblings or cousins now. or you may suddenly take a short distance trip to be able to communicate better. And Pisces. This full moon will bring a healing to your sleep patterns, and indeed your dreams will be intense and they will seem more real than ever. You should get a lot of work now, and there is power to defeat your enemies, even if they are your own thought patterns. You may have been suffering from headaches recently or received an injury, but by the end of the month, these issues will clear up. These last 18 months have been about your mother or mother's family, your home, and real estate. The next 18 months will be about media, communications, and your siblings or cousins, and also taking a lot of short distance trips. Leaders with dark agendas in your career have been exposed this summer for who they are, and you may have learned some new skills in your career or even chosen a new one. Money will come to you now suddenly due to money that is owed to you by others or by an inheritance. Watch your words at this time, as you may unexpectedly say something in an angry way, even if it is the truth. And Pisces, you will benefit from dance as well. So I hope that this video brings you guys some good luck and some hope for the future. September is going to be a real turnaround month for us because we have both Jupiter going direct on the 13th, Saturn going direct on the 28th, and Rahu and Ketu changing signs on the 19th. Now I use the true node position. So really it is 2 weeks starting on September 19th going forward, the mean node being 2 weeks after the true node. So this entire time, the middle to end of September up through the first week of October will be very transformative. And I feel like we're going to get a renewed sense of hope. So I hope that this brings many blessings to you and your family, that you guys are getting through this time. I know it's been difficult, with the pandemic and being in quarantine and all of this political fighting, but really we've got to realize that there are much higher things going on that we need to tap into, and it's vitally important, especially on this full moon in Shatabishak, that we unplug from the dark agendas of others. I know I keep saying this phrase, but it is imperative that we recognize that we are all being manipulated right now. So I want you to unplug from this and plug into the central sun, which is the galactic center. This is the source of light for our galaxy. And if you can bypass other, lesser forms of energy, this is the highest. This is where God sits. So this is what I really want you to focus on right now. And many blessings to all of you. Namaste.